This is the front row gang. These are all the single-digit racers. Never a double-digit finish.
I wish.
Every corner of the sail, you have a control line, like down and in, in all and a down haul here, an out haul. You can do your mast rate. Well, and because there's it's freestanding, so like how far you raise the mast, you always trim the boom down till it hits the deck in the back.
Okay, you two block it, right?
Right. So the distance from the top of the mast to the back deck is a function of rate. So that's a function of how flat your sail is, right? So like you put the mast forward to actually in heavy wind, you put the mast forward, trim, and it bends the mast. The curve which flattens the whole sail out.
Hey there. How you doing?
I mean, a laser, you know, I always said when you're sailing a laser, you're racing the other guys on the course because everybody can sail. But in the fin, you're sailing. You can't beat the guy. Like if you can sail that boat as efficient, like the guy who's sailing the boat most efficiently is gonna win almost every time. Like you have to be, so you can turn. You're racing the other guys, but like if you know, I can sail the boat better than you. All I have to do is follow you around.
Well, it's like the Dyer Dhow. Look at this guy.
You know, I'm just sitting here, fly on the wall, listening to the brain trust.
Another fine day in Norwalk.
Another fine day, and I think I have a video of Kevin a couple of years ago. The two of you standing here, when Kevin does virtually the same thing. He holds his hand out as if to say, "Come and partake." You know.
Come and partake.
Yeah, there it is.
We've come a long way, have we?
Jeffrey, that is some outfit. He guts fish while he's out there. If he's not doing well, he just throws a line over and
There you go.
guts him right in the boat.
Lobster guys, they actually.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
They're lobster guys, they like me. Oh my God. Nothing goes through it.
And you have full range of movement.
Yeah, they're very nice.
Yeah.
Is that stuff freed? No.
No.
Not at all.
Yeah, if the temperature gets above what it is now,
Yeah,
it's
sweat
going to be
factory.
raining inside. Yeah.
Yeah. But I took off my sweater.
How about a boat gear clinic?
Boat gear.
Boat.
We're gonna do speed smarts, I think, in a minute. See what the topic is.
You were talking about the fin, and that's what sort of attracted me. Did you ever sail with Peter Conrad? He was a
I know him. I never sailed with him.
yeah. I think it still mystifies me a little bit just what tension on the headstay does to one of these boats.
All right. Well, let's look at that.
Yeah, and I'll video it, and we'll make it a segment until that other
All right, perfect. We got Kevin's boat right here.
sheet comes.
All right.
This is John Fallon talking about headstay tension on the Dyer Dhow. Take one.
So, do you guys want to talk about head stay tension? Sure. Like why? So, in a Dyer, what head stay tension does is because the mast doesn't really bend. The sails aren't very big. The masts are relatively strong to the sail. So, what you're doing with the head stay tension, if you pull the tension really tight, have this top mark forward, all you're doing is you're pulling the tip of the mast forward, okay? You're also pulling the tip of the mast to windward a little bit because what you're doing is putting tension on the side stays. So when it's tighter, you're pulling it forward and up. That brings your center of effort. So you'll see right in front of the top batten right now how it's really deep. So this will bring your center of effort, the depth of your sail forward in the boat. When you have it this when you have it this tight, the boat will want to bear off a lot. Okay, this can be really useful when it's fairly windy out, for example, and you get a lot of weather helm in these boats. So one of the reasons why you would do this when it's windy is because you got your weather helm and this pulls the center of effort forward. The other good thing about why it's windy is because when you do put your bang on, you have a lot more weight. You know, your boom is up in the air a lot further, so your bang can actually be more effective and flatten your sail out more. If it's down, if you're braked back and it's really windy and you pull your bang on, you can actually, you know, almost, you'll see guys in Milford and stuff go like almost 2 block in the back. I don't think with these sails you ever really want to do that. So the times when you might have this setup with it fit forward are when it's really light and you're just trying to get some power in the sail. So when, you know, on a day like today, you know, maybe you might say a little tighter than normal, and then obviously once you're hiking.
Wait, I thought you were saying tighter in heavier wind conditions.
So in very, very light, and then in the middle, and then we'll talk about in the middle, you're going to loosen it, and then you're going to tighten it again. So it's really only like a day like today where you really just want a nice full sail up top. You're going to sail with a boat heeled over on a day like today when it's really loose. So you can get away with a little tighter rig. Just for an extreme, if you take a look at what happens, we'll loosen out to Kevin's loosest spot here. So the whole rig goes back. You'll notice the leeward side stay is now sagging, so it didn't just go back, it also went to leeward. Okay? So that will open up that top of the leech. Hard to see without wind, but you'll see the top batten. There's a lot less depth in the sail. When it's full, the top batten will be open, so there'll be a lot less depth in the top of the sail. The top batten will flow more. Okay. Once you're able to keep the boat, you have to keep the boat really flat when the rake's back because the boat's going to want to round up a lot, right? You've moved your center of effort back quite a bit, probably like almost a foot here, so you need to hike and keep the boat really flat. So as you get your rake back, but I think a rake like this, especially when it's a little bit wavy, medium conditions, when you can keep the boat flat, this is kind of where you want to go. And then as it gets windier, you go a little tighter. Can I hold the boat down? Can I go? Am I still going straight? Am I able to go? And then once it gets, I'm hiking all the time, and every once in a while, you'll get, so you almost wind up after tacks and stuff like that. If you're doing that, then make sure you get your mast all the way forward. That will really help you get out of the tacks and kind of keep the boat moving forward through puffs when it's really, really windy. Questions about that?
John, what?
About very little movement, really.
So yeah,
So just purchase it.
so if you look, I mean, watch. I'd love to do it on a measurement, but we're talking about from there to there probably being from tight to loose, so that's probably what, like 3 or 4 inches at the top of the mast?
Yep. What Tom Ross and I did, maybe last season, we sat in the boat in the water, put the rig up, and we put the different pins. And we put a level here. And we said for pin 2, and then pin 2, we marked it and said, the mast, and we sat ourselves on the boat so the boat was leveled out of stern. And then we said, where's the rig center in the rig? That's what those marks look like. So this one, that red reflects in the light condition, which is the bottom pin, where we thought the mast was strapped down. And that was just our reference point, strapped down.
So the best way to tune, if you ever really want to tune this on your boat, that's a decent way, but the best way is to take your halyard, take a tape measure, take the measure, pull your halyard to the top of the mast, tape measure to the center of your transom, and then mark the numbers down. And then you know how many inches at each setting. And then you know the range. So tight to loose at each setting.
That's the option, right?
Every boat pretty much should be doing that. So it's the length of your, it's basically, you want to know where your mast tip is, how far forward or back it is.
How do you know when you're centered? That's what we're struggling with. Mast straight down. And then go from there.
Well, there's a distance. I mean, you can do it with the mast if you want. Measure how long your mast is and how far it is from here to there. Pythagorean theorem.
But you just can't look at him and say, oh, he's on 2 pins, but my boat will work on 2 pins.
Right, but if you look at his boat right now, everybody agree that his mast is a little further forward than straight up and down.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a tight setting. I mean, I think, my guess is that that's straight up and down. To that.
If you want to move your mast forward, would you loosen your stays, put your pins in lower, just to even push that number forward?
Higher.
Well, no, you want to
So,
create as much.
so one thing you can do is, so what you do with these side stays in general is, actually, to be honest, I leave mine in the same hole all the time. Is find the ones that give you, that are get the mast straight up and down, and then give you tension with it slightly forward and as loose as you'd ever go once it's slightly back, but the right tension, a good tension like this. So if you look at my boat, totally different pins. You can come over here. Different pin settings, right? But it's basically the same thing. Where my tension's fairly loose right now. I'm straight up and down. That's basically the same settings as his boat is right now, even though we're on different pins, because their stays are slightly different. But that's what you're looking for: the mast to be straight up and down, and just enough sag so you can see, like, see my lured pin right now. That's probably the right amount of sag. You don't want to. You want to see, you know. Not like, you don't want it to be like completely loose, ever, you know. But you want it to, you know, have about that much sag. And that will vary. You'll need a tighter forestay to keep it like that as the wind comes up. Because as the wind pushes harder on it, right, you need to pull it tighter to pull the whole rig to windward.
Are you when you go downwind, are you pulling your rig forward?
I don't touch my rig now. I never tried that. Will tried it for a while, but my worry, what happens, I think, is your side stays get really tight when you pull your rig forward, and so your boom can't go out as far. So I'd rather have a softer rig and let my boom stay out as far as you can. I think the extra inch or two out on the boom, because an inch or two here makes a huge difference at the end of the boom. Because like if the side stays here instead of here, I mean, that's probably a foot or 2 feet at the end of the boom further forward. So I favor a looser rig downwind and kind of pressing the.
Yep.
But I also try to sail with more heel, like windward heel. You sail with a lot of windward heel too.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out, right? And I don't know who's fastest. You know,
I don't
Fotis
either.
approach.
I think all approaches downwind work.
So we had dinner with Fotis 2 weeks ago. His statement is, you know, I sit forward up there, but to fuck with people's minds. He goes, I don't think it's any faster, but I fuck with their minds. I got the whole fleet sitting forward. He goes,
Yeah, right. and Rory, in all the pictures I have, is way forward all the time, and he's going fast. But
so here is that leeward mark. This is the one that says, do you like them to 2, 3?
Yeah, we should probably do this what we're talking
It might be smart.
about. Any other questions on rig setup since we're here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As the wind picks up, to reduce windward helm by pulling the mast forward. Where do you have the centerboard at different winds going upwind? Because I usually, as it gets windier, I pull mine up more, and that reduces windward helm.
So that's, I mean, I try to keep mine straight up and down when I'm racing, but when I'm not racing, and probably if you're having any trouble keeping the boat going straight, pull your centerboard up a little bit. So if you ever see me sailing around without a rudder out there, my centerboard is more than halfway out all the time. And you can go upwind, like I can go upwind without a rudder, fine. And when I'm going upwind without a rudder, my centerboard is almost all the way up, because I need to get the resistance back, you know, because otherwise, so the boat won't round up into the wind. So you should do that too. Like these boats are neutral helm with the centerboard up, probably like halfway to 3/4. So if you're having trouble when it's really windy, I know I see it because I do it. Like you come out of attack, the puff hits, and you round up and you're in irons. If that's happening to you, it's like have your centerboard halfway up. Come out of attack, you're going to go straight. You're not going to side slip that much.
And then bring it down?
If you can, I mean, if you can, or just sail, you know, you won't be able to hike quite as hard. You might lose a little bit to someone who is, but you lose a little bit on that 10 yards that you go straight, and then you gain 2 boat lengths when you have a better tack, you know, on the person who doesn't have their centerboard up a little bit. So it can help. Between races, if it's ever windy, get your centerboard halfway up, never put it down. You always watch boats that tip over have their centerboards down all the way. Boats that don't tip over have their centerboards halfway up.
That's funny.
But yeah, so the centerboard is a big trick when it's windy, and when it's light. I mean, I my boat, I don't know where it is. I keep every week thinking I should measure, but I know it kicks forward a little bit, so I give it a little to try to get it straight up and down.
And the alcohol? You want to talk about that? We do have
Sure. I mean, honestly, I think there's one setting for the alcohol, which is, you know, it's that for me. It's one hand length off the middle of the boom in the center of this, you know, the deepest part of the sail. You need to play with your outhaul a little bit to get that, because obviously as it's more, you know, there's more wind, it'll pull harder. If there's less wind, you need it a little, you know, a little looser. The one time I might go off that is when it is like no wind, where I'll pull my outhaul a little tighter on a day like today. By pulling the outhaul tighter, you're opening the leach up a little bit, and on a day like today, like just having the most sail area and the leach a little open, it's probably a little faster, a little less drag. But as soon as there's like 5 knots of wind, and especially if there's chop, if you don't have your outhaul loose, like if you think, oh, I'll pull the outhaul tight because that's what you do in boats, these aren't regular boats. These sails just go, if they're flat, they have no power. You'll stall. So even when it's really windy, you still need a fairly loose outhaul. I don't ever really pull mine tight.
And that would be said for all different cuts of Dyer sails.
Yes.
So Milford or Larchmont or any of the others.
Yes.
Southport.
You probably play with your outhaul a little more with like sails like at Milford where they have such a long leach.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
How about clue height? You know, you fixed.
So yeah, the clue height's interesting. There are 3 different ways people have it set up. With a standard regular clue tie down like this, all the clue tie down's doing is holding the boom up to where the sail is. Okay? And it translates basically, you know, this into a direct, the vang into a direct pull down on the leach on the same angle. With no clue tie down at all, like Mike has, and especially one that comes from the end of the boom with no clue tie down, the boom's lower, but what that also does is changes the angle of your vang, so the vang actually pulls down, but it pulls it doesn't pull directly down on the leach. It kind of pulls it out, which can actually, there's a lot of arguments why that's really fast. The problem with that, without a clue tie down, for me, is tacking. It lowers your boom dramatically. So yes, I think it's actually a little faster in a straight line, probably to have no clue tie down at all, but it keeps your boom a little higher. So I think the best solution, if you ever look at Jeff's rig, a bunch of Mike's kind of as well, because he modified it, where it comes comes into like a pulley or comes in from the end and then goes up. You get the best of both worlds. You get the not having to have a direct clue tie down, so you can get it pulling back with the vang a little bit, but you also get the boom up a little higher than it would be without anything. So I can see boat 19, I think it's Mikey's boat, has that going on. I know Ian was setting that up on his boat last week with a loop that he pulled his rig through. If you guys want to see a simple way to do it, what Ian does is he just basically ties a loop of line doesn't put it through the clew of the sail.
Yeah.
So then as you pull the, but then fixes it on the boom, and then so like you pull it through the loop. It's kind of an interesting way to get that. Jeff's boat has it set up with permanently with a pulley. It's a good one to look at.
One point on that is that the Mamaroneck rules, in case you ever take your boat there and try to sell it there, prohibit the mounting of a turning block on the side of the elbow block on the side of the boom. So you can't do that.
Right. And actually, in most fleets, you can't. The class rules are that you're not supposed to have a clew tie down.
Yep.
You are allowed to wrap your outhaul around your booms. It just shouldn't be two lines. So, like, if I took my boat the way it's set up right now to Mamaroneck, I'd have to just take my outhaul, wrap it around the boom once, tie it off, and then, which is what I did with my old one. But I don't know, I'm lazy and I needed to add one piece of line that wasn't spec on this
That's what
boat.
Ian raised up on his boat.
Yeah, exactly. The goal was just to, stop people from spending money and time on fancy rigging stuff, not that it changed the performance of the boat that much.
John, I noticed on your boat your van goes to the floor, whereas on Ian's old boat it goes to the mast. Which is better?
I like it to the mast much better. My old boat had it to the mast, and this year I've tipped over once and almost tipped over like 3 or 4 times because of this. Because by having it to the floor, it is more efficient. So I think I can get my vang tighter, but I don't know why I don't really want to get my vang that tight. But it moves the vang back. So if you think about the angle, the vang, like where it goes over my life jacket, this block is like would be here, but instead it's here, and here it catches on the back of my life jacket. And like I had to wear a pinny, and then I ripped the tag off the back of my life jacket. Finally, I had to like do surgery to it, so I didn't go over. Thinking about it. I need to.
Move right back to mast.
I put a loop, a veil right behind the mast here. There's a lot of the guys, I saw the guys down at Indian Harbor, and actually Paul Baudin from Doyle Plot sails with their main sheet coming down there, because that way he can put his foot against the thwart and pull, and he's a small guy and he's light. And so I put that there, and I thought, I've never done it. When I picked up the boat after Ched sailed the other day, I noticed he put the vang there, which was sort of clever, because I moved the vang farther aft.
So, yeah, I mean,
This makes tough to tack, though. Well, it's not, it's just went from here to there. So, you're talking a couple of inches.
yeah, I think that's where. Remember, Peter. Remember my boat it had that on the seat, right? That's where the old one was.
Yeah.
As rather than on the mast,
Mine's on the seat.
which is fine, but I think it also does damage to your seat. Because it does put quite a bit of strain, and wood is not metal.
So to do that, I did.
Like I think the way my boat's set up right now, it's going to last forever.
I took out the seat, drilled it out, over drilled it, put in epoxy, and they have nuts underneath, so it's not in tension on screws.
Mine is
Tell me, look at the main seat over the mast. Cutting that down.
So vang tension is important in these boats. I think upwind, you want you want to get the boat set up and going as fast as you can upwind, like, and then just take the tension out, the tension out of your vang and cleat it, so that the boom doesn't go way up in the air after attack, or when you ease the sail, it actually goes out a little bit. You need to get your vang off at the windward mark. If there's any wind at all, you can take it all the way off, and then you just put enough vang on downwind for control. Downwind, the vang is my chicken line. Like, if I ever feel like I'm worried, if I see a puff behind me and boats are going like this, I just pull a little vang on. And as soon as you pull the vang on, it pulls your mast back, it pulls your boom, pulls your boom in actually, because it pulls the end of your boom in, because it has to come down on this, and this is further back. So downwind is super important. It is the thing that keeps you from tipping over.
It's kind of intuitive.
Yeah.
I think you're easing stuff off.
But
Yeah, because a couple weeks ago, or a month or so ago, when it was really blowing, I was going downwind. I blew off the vang, so I was trying to dump air off the top of the sail and have that twist. And you're like, put on the vang, and I'm like, oh, okay. So why is that though? Because
the vang, it'll keep you stable.
but
so
it doesn't. But you still have more sail exposed. But
Yeah, well,
Flatter.
but flatter
But it's
sail.
flatter, yeah.
You don't want a flat sail. You want for speed, you want a round sail. like that spinnaker that you think when you lift the boom up and it looks crazy, that's a really good downwind sail. You'll go really fast with that, but you'll be totally out of control as well. So
The only part in that, Stephen, I could be wrong in this, coming out of a laser, you get any twists in the sail, it's just pushing the mast over to the side.
and then one side and then the other side immediately, like it's
And you
very
get out of
unstable.
control fast, so I trim it when the chicken maneuver. It's just
Exactly.
like, that thing
It's
out.
much better than main sheet, because if you trim the main sheet in, bad stuff can happen too. You know, like all of a sudden your hairy edge.
There's one tough line.
Eric Diller. Race committee.
If we don't do roll texting, where is your
Say hi.
hey,
There you go.
when you do the roll texting? Are you straight?
So actually, let's just talk quick. I mean, we won't do them. Eric, are you going out? Right right in front of you know where my little cradle thing is? There's a 2 4-packs in a.
For delivery.
You want to bring those out?
Talk about roll tacking.
So tacking, I think so. The key with tacking, the first half of your tack is to try to get to windward, and I think that's the part that I think most people don't do very well. So you're sailing along and you want to tack, right? This is a little different when you want to like tack and duck somebody right away, but like a normal upwind tack, you're trying to get to a windward mark and you're going this way and the mark's over here and you need to tack to it, right? Well, the first half of your tack, you shouldn't turn very fast and you shouldn't move your body very much. The boat will basically glide. So all you want to do is slowly push the rudder over. Don't move your body at all. Keep the boat flat, you know, don't try to pre-roll, don't do anything, just keep sailing. Go head to wind, gliding, you get that extra thing, and then once you're head to wind, once the sail starts luffing, then you push the helm. I try to keep my tiller down so it doesn't ever go outside the rails. If you ever push your tiller outside the rails, you're not turning, you're stopping. So that's as far as you ever want to turn. But that's what you do. So once you're head to wind, then you push it hard, you stay still on their same side, right? The sail comes over on top of you. And then you you basically kind of slide up, but try to stay leeward until the sail fills, and then straighten the tiller out and flatten. So the key is once you are going in the new, don't move until you're headed in the new direction, and then try to bring the tiller to the center line as you flatten the boat out. If you do that, as you flatten, you're going to go forward. The tiller's not going to be stopping you. You're going to be through your turn. So think about the whole turn being done sitting on the windward side or sitting in the position you were before the tack, and then coming out of the turn is when you switch sides and go forward. So it's much slower tiller in the first half of your tack. I see a lot of people, they're like, ready about? And they push the tiller as hard as they can. And even before you turn, you just stop. And then it's like, okay, now I'm going slow in the wrong direction. Now it's slowly as though it's going to turn now. It's not like that. Or try to carve it.
You're hiking to windward to have have the boat tacked. You're actually hiking to leeward.
Flat.
Flat.
Keep the boat flat until the sail comes over.
How do you
On
get the
top.
boat? How do you train the boat to get the sail?
You're going with the sail.
Okay, so you're
Bring the
hiking
sail to
windward.
you. But never the other way. Like, don't go this way and then that way. It's always coming into attack flat, heeling through the turn. Because when you push the tiller over, if you push the tiller away from you, you lean out a little bit. You bring your centerboard up, which will actually let the bow slide sideways a little bit, which is down, and then flat and straight. So think flat through the turn, on top of you, flatten out. So it's one rock this way, and then rocking it.
And are you?
I can do one right now.
Yeah.
See it, but
Get some boats.
Yeah, let's talk.
Yeah, all this talk. Let's get the boats in the water.
not pre-rocking the boat.
Same thing for a jibe. Right, I'm turning, I'm flat still, but then I'm over, and I stay here, stay small, and then flat. And that's why I swamp all the time. If you can do that, like, you know, basically be patient in the boat, like here. Be patient, sails full, and your foot straight out.
Are you're easing your sheet into the turn, obviously.
So I'm tightening my sheet through here, and as I come across, I let my sheet out on this tack, so that when I rock, I can bring the lead. All right, let's go sailing.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I guess so. Peter, does that watch work for you?
Yeah,
Does it?
yeah, it does.
I had one of those, and I just couldn't get smooth enough with the controls, and I brought it back.
It's a little weird because you have to set 3 minutes each time.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think it's good. Starboard.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Hey, man. I liked your picture from Sydney.
Which one?
Instagram.
On
picture.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just opened up that account. Yeah.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I wanted to make some wise ass comment like, okay, so where's the boat?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're on land.
But I figured your account was new. You didn't need my commentary yet.
It was all I had at the moment. I was at the U.S. Sailing Leadership meeting this week.
Oh, you
and,
were?
Uh-huh.
They had a digital guru giving us some advice. So I said, oh, shit, gotta get on Instagram. All the
Yeah.
cool kids are on Instagram.
That's right.
They are. My kids are on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how was the meeting?
Good. I'm glad I went for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
I went representing Storm Trysil,
Right.
and we're having a bit of a spat with U.S. Sailing on safety at sea, which is the reason I wanted to go. But beyond that, I was really impressed with the meeting. Yeah, I'm not a fan of U.S. Sailing, but I got to say it was an excellent session.
Okay.
Particularly because all the energy was around community sailing and women in sailing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was very encouraged with the presence of community sailing organizations there. I mean, there must have been 15 of them, you know.
You have one in Norwalk?
We only have Ship 6, really, which is a great organization. And we have Longshore, right?
they
That's
do-
kind of a
Do
community.
they do junior sailing?
Oh, well, Ship 6 is all about, you know, it's the Sea Scouts.
Oh, okay. Okay. But they don't do options. They're not members of JSS, are they?
No. That's why they're good.
Well, we have DJST.
Right, yeah. I saw Peggy there.
Yeah, well, Peggy was doing a presentation with our architect.
Okay.
on the new project. And Connor, I think, was there.
Connor was there. He and Pat were hanging out.
Good.
Had a beer with those boys. Might have been two.
Whoops. Want me to just hold you against the dock until you're ready?
No, I'm good. I forgot to attach my main sheet before
Did
leaving.
they talk at all about, decline in sailing in general and how to address that?
Oh, that was the theme of the meeting, was how to turn
Can I get
around.
a
This-
shove?
Literally.
I want to go see some of those online about that.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, like, with, the edge solutions, I mean, I've heard a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think. I mean, if the takeaway, what you took away from that meeting was, you really need to think outside the box. You can't.
Yeah, the old way.
Yeah, you can't modify the status quo and really expect to change things.
Okay. Right, Clayton, you be out there?
Yep.
Good. And
I'm
that's
gonna-
great that you got that.
Yes.
I'm going to study that video.
Yeah, and watching John and watching John tack in some of the other videos, if you go back, you'll see why he's so fast in his tacks.
And he could get full legs on.
And there's something else that I don't think he talks about as much, but by hiking down at the end of the tack, you can see the boat move ahead. There is some propulsion going on there. It's not pumping,
Oh, definitely.
but that one hike, he'll get a half a boat length out of it.
Yeah.
Boom! Just by
Especially coming out of a mark landing or something, it gives listen up.
Yep.
That's the reason why he wins every day.
I will get my gear. Maybe Sam will give me a ride out.
Sure will,
I'm
yeah.
not quite ready yet, but Ian, I got you. That's slow off the dock. You ready?
Yep.
I got you.
Thank you.
That was funny. Ready?
Yeah, thanks. Oh, I forgot something.
Oh. I can run up and get it if you need it.
That's all right. It won't help.
All right.